On June 6, 1944, the world saw one of the most critical turning points of World War II, the D-Day invasion, also known as Operation Overlord. This bold, meticulously planned operation by the Allied forces would become a defining moment in the conflict and set the stage for the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany. The D-Day invasion was the largest amphibious assault in history, involving over 156,000 soldiers, supported by thousands of aircraft and ships. The goal was to open a new front in Western Europe, which had been under Nazi occupation since 1940. After years of war on the Eastern Front and with the pressure mounting on Germany, the Allies needed a breakthrough in the West to weaken Hitler's grip on Europe and liberate the continent. The invasion was launched along the Normandy coast of France, with forces landing on 5 beaches: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. The American, British, and Canadian forces played the central roles in the landings, with American troops landing at Utah and Omaha, British forces at Gold and Sword, and Canadians at Juno. Each beach had its own unique challenges, but all were heavily fortified by the German military. Before the soldiers made their way ashore, the invasion began with extensive air raids and naval bombardments aimed at softening up the German defenses. Thousands of paratroopers were also dropped behind enemy lines to seize key positions and disrupt the Germans' ability to respond quickly to the beach landings. This was a high-risk move, as the paratroopers faced scattered drops, difficult terrain, and immediate counterattacks from the enemy. The weather on D-Day added to the complexity. Despite forecasted storms, the Allied forces decided to proceed with the invasion, and the weather remained challenging throughout the day. Strong winds, rough seas, and low visibility made the assault particularly difficult for the soldiers coming ashore. When the first waves of Allied troops landed at Utah Beach, they faced relatively light resistance from the Germans, allowing them to secure the area quickly. But at Omaha Beach, the situation was far more brutal. American forces were met with heavy machine gun fire, artillery bombardments, and a series of concrete bunkers built by the Germans along the beach. The soldiers were forced to advance under constant fire, facing devastating losses in the process. The initial waves of attack struggled to make headway, but eventually, with reinforcements and relentless determination, the beach was secured. At Gold and Sword beaches, the British and Canadians faced similar challenges. The British troops at Gold faced well-prepared German defenses, but after intense fighting, they managed to push forward. On Sword Beach, British forces encountered German counterattacks, but their relentless advance allowed them to establish their beachhead. Meanwhile, the Canadians at Juno Beach met fierce resistance, but managed to break through German lines, overcoming obstacles and securing the beachhead by the end of the day. By the end of June 6th, the Allied forces had secured all 5 beaches, but it came at a heavy cost. The exact number of casualties varies, but estimates range from 4,000 to 9,000 soldiers lost on the Allied side, with many more wounded. The German forces also suffered heavy losses, but they were unable to stop the beachheads from being established. This success on D-Day marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. Over the following weeks, the Allies would continue their advance through France, eventually liberating Paris in August 1944 and pushing into Belgium and the Netherlands. The D-Day landings not only opened a new front, but also forced Germany to fight on 2 fronts, weakening their position and accelerating their defeat. D-Day was a moment of extraordinary courage, determination, and sacrifice. It demonstrated the ability of the Allied nations to come together to fight for a common cause, and marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. While the war would continue for nearly another year, the success of the invasion showed that victory was within reach. Today, the soldiers who fought on D-Day are remembered for their bravery, and their legacy remains a symbol of the fight for freedom and democracy,